just look at it, at a time that's convenient.
Perfect. All right, let me go ahead and share again, and now it is recording.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Go back to this and present. All right. Can you guys see my screen again?
Yes.
Great. So like I was saying, in Blue Skies, we work with farmers markets, mobile markets, CSAs, and farm stands. Right now, because of COVID and just, also some folks having seasonal locations, only about 32 outlets are actually operating. We have seen that the direct-to-market farmers, the CSAs, sorry, there's a train right next to me. Sorry if you guys can hear that, are able to better operate. A lot of the farmers markets have to deal with city ordinances or just municipalities that aren't sure yet that they're able to open. We have, you can kind of see to the left some of our imagery. We've got a lot of fun little graphics to make it easy for your customers to understand that we'll be sharing with you all. So why do we do this? This was a pre-COVID stat that 3.5 million Floridians live without reliable access to sufficient quantity of affordable, nutritious food. Pair that with the fact that it's often easier to access a bag of potato chips than a head of broccoli. And it also seems more calorie dense and much cheaper. So it's a real tough piece. We see that in rural areas, about 1 in 5 Floridians uses SNAP, and 1 in 7 households in the cities do. Right now, and under COVID times, there's about 3.3 million Floridians who are going to be unemployed, underemployed, or on furlough, which means a greater likelihood that they'll be using SNAP benefits. We see that about 2.7 million Floridians miss at least 1 meal per week due to food insecurity, and about 20 million missing meals are happening each week in Florida. So really this benefit is helping people stretch their dollar and making sure that when they are going and purchasing foods, they see the real benefit of buying fresh local produce. And so I've always loved this. I just think it's so true. It's better to pay the farmer than the doctor. Even though right now we're working in ways to make sure we're not coming into contact and with people as much, there's still that sense of supporting your community and going out and increasing your food education, increasing the livelihood of your local economy, and building that community when you shop local, as well as, of course, improving your health outcomes by eating fresh local food. So this is kind of always our go-to in how we feel about this program. We know those federal dollars are out there, and we want to make sure that people are using them on this locally grown and less on the food supply chain product. So let's get to the nitty-gritty. This is how it works. You SNAP, we match. Anytime that a SNAP shopper uses a SNAP card at your outlet, they can get a matching dollar of Florida-grown fruits and vegetables for free. In your instance, that would be if they paid for $2 worth of product, they're only paying for $1 on their SNAP card, and that other dollar is paid through our USDA funding with Fresh Access Bucks. Before COVID-19, we had a $40 cap, which basically meant if a SNAP shopper spent $40 or less on SNAP, they got a dollar for dollar match. If they spent up to $50, they would still get that $40 match, but it didn't continue onward from there. But we do see with this increase and people really just trying to get the most for their money, and us, of course, wanting to encourage people to use that money with the farmers and with the farmers markets, we decided let's do unlimited. One of the things that COVID-19 has done is Florida has instated the highest maximum benefit of anyone that's a SNAP recipient. So, for example, in normal times, most seniors only received $16 a month as kind of their generic amount of SNAP benefits. Right now, it's about $160 that they're receiving. So we really wanted to make sure that they could maximize that with the farmers and farmers markets. So a quick refresher, I know you guys have been accepting SNAP for a little while here. The SNAP, though, can be used for, of course, any fruits, vegetables, bread products, meat, fish, poultry, And it's basically an intention, right? So with SNAP, the idea is you're going to get those products and you're going to go home and prepare them in some way. Packaging really does matter here. A single loose cookie, in a wax paper is not SNAP eligible, but a little container with like 3 or 4 cookies in them, that would be SNAP eligible. Orange juice in an open cup, not SNAP eligible. Orange juice in a container to take home, SNAP eligible. With Fresh Access Bucks, we are really just doing the fresh fruits and vegetables, so non-processed, Florida grown. So anything that you all grow, of course, immediately would be both SNAP and FAB eligible. We also do plants and seeds, which produce food to eat. So if you guys ever sell transplants for people to start their own garden, that of course is also SNAP and FAB eligible. So in a discount system, if you guys have things that are from other farms and out of state, or other things like, for instance, if you guys make jam from your strawberries, for instance, that would be SNAP eligible. So say that jam is $8. As long as they had $8 worth of other product, they're maximizing that benefit of, say, fresh fruits and vegetables. You would still only have to charge $8 on their SNAP card, and $8 of it. The rest of the $8 we paid with Fresh Access Bucks. We'll go through a couple examples when I get to FM tracks, which is where you guys will be doing the record keeping so that we see your transactions and we're able to then give you direct deposit. So I want to go through quickly the roles and responsibilities between us, Feeding Florida, and you all. So what you can rely on us for is to provide you with resources, technical assistance, and train you in how to actually implement the program. We provide you the incentive funding on a reimbursement basis. So when you put in the information in FM tracks, we reimburse you weekly. We'll support you in any fundraising that you hope to do, promotional needs to make sure that people know you're accepting Fresh Access Bucks and SNAP, and really help get the word out. We do monthly calls for our market managers and farmers to keep them up to date on any policies accepting SNAP. While we like to encourage you to attend the calls if you can to network with your similar partners within the state, we do also send a digest of the information gleaned from those calls. We do site visits. So once we're kind of back to normal a little bit more, I'll be coming by and just visiting the farm stand or maybe one of your pickup spots or something like that. Secret shopping, that's more for the farmers markets. We already do that with some of the markets you all attend. So you may or may not have even noticed we were there. I do evaluate data. We have to send back information from USDA. Our main point in all this is to make sure the USDA understands what a big impact farmers have, direct marketing farmers have on their communities, and these funds should be used and continued within the Farm Bill. We do facilitate networking between the FAB partners. We do an annual training. We also do monthly check-in calls, like I just mentioned, on an as-needed basis. We also do different webinars if topics of interest come up. With you all, the program partner, you guys are responsible for managing that incentive distribution, reimbursement, and the record keeping on FM tracks. Utilizing any promotion, we do, like I said, send you promotional materials, but you're the best at reaching your own customers. So while we do have a social media presence, of course, yours is going to be more impactful for your outlet. So inputting the information that we're going to go over in FM tracks in just a moment. If you have any other markets or any other farmers you buy from, making sure to reimburse them for any SNAP or FAB that you receive. Ensuring that only Florida grown fruits and vegetables are, or those vegetables grown within 50 miles of the Florida border, are purchased with the Fresh Access Bucks incentive. Amy, that's kind of what you signed to, or a portion of what you signed to within the contract. You're training your market staff on the rules for SNAP and FAB. So you'll also have this training video. I'll make sure to send it to you so that you can use it for any of your, any folks that you work with, Amy. Keeping your managers up to date and aware of any staff changes, if that's applicable. Obviously, Amy, if you change who's operating, let me know. We do ask that you provide 6 unique SNAP Nutrition Ed events. Basically, what that looks like is sharing recipes for CSAs and farm stands. Usually, it's putting in a recipe in the newsletter, promoting a certain fruit or vegetable, or giving information about it. When we're kind of back to the space where people want to do little taste tests of anything, things like that, or even doing like a little bit of a garden training would count. It's basically a requirement of the USDA. They realize that if you're not providing information or education about how to eat healthy, then it's much harder for people who might not be as accustomed to eating seasonally or working with different fruits and vegetables. Again, we do encourage you to participate in the monthly FAB regional calls. When we do have our FAB annual training, we will let you know way ahead of time, and we provide financial support for your hotel accommodation and travel. And then also participating in the FAB annual membership fee, which I'll talk about in just a moment. Oh, go ahead, Amy.
Okay, so we already do include a weekly recipe, so we would basically just submit something like a copy of our weekly newsletter and the like basically provide a packet that shows all the recipes that we gave out throughout the season. Would that fulfill that requirement? Okay.
Yep, and I'll also show you just how to log it real quick too.
Oh, okay.
Tracks thing. Yeah,
okay,
but
great.
We would love if you would share that. We are working on doing like a little like FAB cookbook thing for like a promotion. So So we'd love to share your recipes. That'd be awesome.
Okay, great. Yeah, we're actually working with our new CSA coordinator. She's actually a chef also. So she'll like to do this. So that'll be great.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Hey. So as I mentioned, FM Tracks, this is kind of where we will log any of your information. I'm working on getting your guys' profile set up. It should be set up by the end of today. So we're going to play really quickly in the training market FM Tracks. So when you log on, yours is going to look, I just wanted to make sure she hadn't updated it yet. No. So when you come on, you'll see this is FM Tracks. It's just fmtracks.org to log in, and I'll give you that information. You'll be getting a thing to sign on and be the market manager for your profile. But I'll walk you through our training market so we all get a sense of what's going on. So, FAB training market. So the first thing that pops up in a FAB training market, and we'll walk through, is it's asking you for your most recent market day. So I know you guys have multiple days that you're doing sales with the CSA or with a farm stand, and I am not going to ask you to log your information every single day. What I will ask is that you select one day that's good for coming on here and just doing your record keeping for the incentive. And we can decide that, Amy, whatever day you think is easy. How we work is every Tuesday at 1:00 in the afternoon, we go online and we pull the data from every market we work with, and we get their reimbursement amount so we can send it to our accountants and they can get it into your direct deposit for Thursday. So basically on the Tuesday, we pull the prior week's Monday through Sunday. So for instance, this Tuesday we pulled, the 4th through the 10th. So you get your money from the FAB incentive on a weekly basis in that manner. So I would suggest, whatever makes sense for you for that Monday through Sunday. So if, whatever day is good, as long as it's in by Tuesday at 1, you'll get reimbursed on a regular basis. I'm reiterating that because in this program, when it asks you what market day, it's just, I don't care what day the transaction actually happened, but the computer wants to know what day and it's happening. Because if I happen to log information on a non-market day in the computer, it's not going to show up for me when I pull that big information. I can always go back and find it. It's just kind of tedious. And obviously with a bunch of markets, sometimes it just becomes overwhelming. So this little thing comes up to remind you to make sure even though today is a Thursday, right now this market is set, I believe, to be a what 5/11 was Monday market. So I would go ahead and select, yes, I'm going to do it for the most recent market day and choose. So that's just kind of up there to help you. This is the homepage of it, where it says FAB Training Market up here. It will basically say FrogSong Organics instead when yours is all set up. This program is super simple. It just works in a series of tabs, and I'll just go through the basic ones so you understand how it works. Interdaily sales and data is basically where you're going to be putting in your information on a daily basis. Manage profile, if there's anything in your profile you want to change. And run reports, because we can generate receipts, we can generate Excel reports, including anything with questions you may or may not want to ask. We can also generate quick reports, which we'll walk through. Right here is the date. Again, this is what I'm talking about. Make sure this one is set to the date where the program thinks your market day is, right? So they think Monday is my market day, so we'll leave it there. And then your major tabs. So this is what we'll create. So transactions, vendor reimbursements, and post-market. When you have a SNAP transaction, you would go ahead and select SNAP EBT. If a customer comes and they say have eggs, carrots, and an eggplant, the eggs are, say the eggs are $6, the carrots are $4, the eggplant is $2, right? So you have a total of a $12 purchase. Luckily, there's equal amounts of SNAP eligible items and FAB eligible items. So there's 6 that is SNAP and FAB eligible and 6 that is just SNAP. So I'm going to go ahead and put 12 here. What this does, because it's on auto calculate, is auto calculates that Fresh Access Bucks would take $6 off. When you scroll down, you see that $12 total currency, $6 was swiped on their SNAP card, $6 is going to be paid by Fresh Access Bucks. So that all looks right. I'm going to make sure I put in my customer ID. This is what we call an FM Tracks ID also, because it's basically just their first and last initial on the EBT card and the last 4. So when you're swiping this card, you wouldn't even necessarily need to like ask them, because that's already going to be on it. And so that's just a way to track repeat shoppers. We can give you guys more insights on your customers. We do create charts and visuals so you get a better sense of who's coming, what population and zip codes are coming and where. Customer zip code, we strongly encourage this. This is not completely required, but again, it's really helpful. The more information you give us, the more we can help feed back into your insights and your customers. So I've got a zip code. Additional tracking over here. I do want to point out, this is not required, but for instance, if you wanted to keep track of what location these transactions were coming from, you guys can make an internal code. You could say like CSA, or you could do it by county. Like if you have like a Volusia County or a Flagler County pickup or location, you're welcome to use that additional tracking to track those locations. And that's up to you internally. We wouldn't use that, but if for your own records, you want to keep that. These questions, if you do happen to use an iPad to do these, to take this information in real time, which you're able to, it is an app on an iPad. It does not work right now with any Android, nor does it work, unfortunately, on an iPhone yet. We've been waiting forever, and they just haven't been able to create that or make it happen. Once you have this information in, you would go ahead and click Submit Transaction. So what's great is it kind of comes in at the bottom here and shows me this transaction that happened in the log. And so as I'm entering them in, I can just make sure, okay, I've got that, I didn't duplicate anything. If you want to change anything, you can select this pencil and you can edit any of these things that happened in here really quickly. If you want to delete it because you duplicated it, you would just select the trash can. I'm going to give you one more example. Actually, we'll go through 2 more. If you have a customer that buys more SNAP eligible items than items that are FAB eligible, so say for instance, that customer that we just spoke about got the eggs for $6 and the carrots for $4. Obviously, there's not an equal amount of FAB eligible items. So you could simply unselect that auto calculate button. You've got a total of $10 there with the 6 and the 4. then what you do is you just select fresh access bucks and select $4 because $4 of that was FAB eligible. You would look down here and you'd say the total currency is 10. That's correct. 6 of it was on their Snap card. 4 of it was for fresh access bucks. Of course, the other thing you could do is encourage them to buy $2 more worth of veggies because they're able to get that and the FAB incentive would cover it for no cost to them. And you're then selling even more veggies. So we always encourage folks, if they can, to have like a few like $1 or $2 little items to flesh that out. Then they sell more and then the customer actually gets the full benefit of that 50% off. Does that all make sense for how that works in terms of like making sure at least 50% of it is the fresh fruits and vegetables from Florida?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And I'm just going to go ahead and make this one full. And we'll go ahead and submit so we can kind of see this on the back end. So once you're done with all the transactions for the week, you'd go ahead and do that same process for all of them. And I can share, if you guys want to track at the outlets on paper, we have like a template little transaction log that has all this information already made on Excel, and you can print it as, you know, so you just have that. So at your farm stand or at the CSA, when you're doing that, you can just keep it on paper and then you put it in each week. And that's one of the processes that a lot of our outlets use. Most of them, I'd say about 40% do use an iPad, but a lot of folks don't. So it just depends on what you're comfortable with. This next one under here, new aggregate transaction, you won't ever need to use that. We don't do aggregate transactions. Transaction log, again, this is just kind of a way to look back at your logs of what you just put in for that particular day. The next piece that we need is the vendor reimbursement. For you all, since you are the vendor, you would go into your favorites list and you would find your name. I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys in here. When we create your profile, I'll just put in FrogSong. But you would select yourself from the Dropbox. The favorite vendors list is basically like your list of market vendors. And all you would need to do for that week, and so again, this is week, I know you guys have multiple locations where you'll be using the incentive. You'll go ahead and put the total SNAP EBT. So for instance, for ours, in that example, I had $6 for the eggs that first time and then $6 in that egg example. So I'd say 12. And then we had $6 for the carrots and the eggplant, and then another 4 for the carrots. So I've got 10 in fresh access bucks redeemed. If you have any additional coupons, you could put them here. You do not have to put the number of transactions there. If you want to, you can, but we really catch that just on the front end, right? So when you're actually logging the transactions, we'll see those as unique ones. We don't need to know your gross sales. And so this would basically be it. So this does seem like a redundant step since basically you're giving a discount. So everything that you're pushing out into the world is already being redeemed by you technically. But we can't, unfortunately, there's not a workaround in this program right now. So this is just basically like you confirming that yes, everything that you say went out in the transactions has been redeemed and is completed. We click submit reimbursement, and that's that. For farmers markets, as you can imagine, and that's kind of why this isn't a workaround, they might have multiple vendors that they're logging at the end of the day. So just like, for instance, Amy, if you guys are at the Winter Park Farmers Market, they have multiple vendors, so they would log the reimbursements for each one of those vendors in here. So once you do yourself, that's all we're asking for you since you guys are a direct marketing farmer and a CSA. We just want that. If you want to list yourself as a vendor at different outlets, so say for instance, you wanted to list yourself as like FrogSong CSA, FrogSong pop-up, or farm stand or anything like that as a vendor, we can set that up too, so you kind of see where your SNAP dollars are really getting spent and how. So it's up to you how much you want to use this to understand the different streams. I know you guys are more complex than the average farmer we probably work with, and so I think you guys probably already have a lot of streams of understanding of where your money is going and how it's being spent. But if you want to use it that way, you're very welcome to. The last little tab that just needs to get completed each week is the post-market report. For you guys, this is going to be real redundant, real quick. So number of vendors selling if it's the CSA, and in general, you can just select one because we know it's just y'all. SNAP eligible folks, that's just one because it's you guys. Number of vendors selling fruits and vegetables today, one because it's you guys. How many paid staff were involved in the administration of the incentive program today? So in the course of a week, if you have however many paid staff kind of accepted SNAP or did any of the sales at the market that would have had the opportunity to do a SNAP sale, you'd select that. So say if in a given week you had 3 staff members, that's perfect. If you had any volunteers, you'd select that 0, 1, 10, however many people have been a part of basically just thinking about SNAP and FAB, not like, in the garden harvesting carrots or doing anything like that. And then finally, did you have any of the following activities? So this is where you'd go ahead and select something for the nutrition education. So if, for instance, the chef that's your CSA did something where like maybe she posted a YouTube video or did something on like an Instagram story or Facebook that was showing how she cooks the collard greens or whatever, you could select that. And that would count towards your nutrition education. If it's a newsletter, I would usually select other nutrition education right here, non-federally funded. And then that way we know, oh, okay, cool, they did a recipe card, etc. And then we have your examples as a backup. We do usually get, I wouldn't call it an audit, but we do get a check-in with our grants manager, and they do want to know, oh, okay, well, what are we talking about when we talk about it? And I have to report on that. As well, we do have to give them a number of the staff that are involved. We do want them to know that this does take work, that this isn't something that people are able to do out of the goodness of their heart, even if that's, where their heart is. So it's really important for us to understand what it takes for you to do the work that you're doing. Once that's in, and again, this is going to be, this one in particular, the post-market report is quick and very redundant and will only take you just a second. And so you go ahead and do that. It'll tell you it's there and you close it. And those are the 3 tabs within this interdaily sales and data that we'll need each week. I do quickly just want to show you what the profile looks like because you can tweak things in here. Vendor pending approvals. This is if you add different things. We can talk about this, but like I said, I'm going to, as soon as your profile gets created by FM Tracks, I'm going to put you guys in as a vendor. And Amy, you can tell me how you'd like me to do that. And I can also show you so you can have control of that. And I'll show you down here. So contact information, this is going to be you. It would say FrogSong and Amy, your email address, the mailing address, the location address, which for all intents and purposes, we're just going to keep as the farm. This is what I was talking about in the days of operation. So this training market says it's a Monday, and these are its training dates per year. We can also put same hours year round. Again, I don't really care if this is actually the day that your market exists. I just want this to be an easy day for you to remember that like, oh, I just need to make sure that Sunday's the day I put in data. So maybe Sunday's the day we say the market is. Whatever's easy for you all. Additional customer tracking. Again, I have that other ID field selected. I think it's helpful to do that if you are going to say like, I need to understand what day this was or what location. You can unselect this or select this if you did want to do any research. If you happen to be working with the University of Florida on anything, it's there for you. POS ID field, this would be another way that you basically could track it to the POS, which could then technically be like, oh, this market is associated with this. So that's what it's there for. So you understand who's inputting the data or any other ID. Payment and incentive information. For us, the only information you need to track is SNAP. We do have a bunch of folks that like to use this and they track their credit debit through this. They track even cash, or if you receive FM&P checks, you can select those here. We also have some folks that do have a produce prescription program and manage it this way. So you can select any of those that you would like to track through this if you like FM Tracks. This is we are on a contract basis with Wholesome Wave, who makes FM Tracks. And so basically you have this account through us and can use it however you'd like, as long as you're a FAB partner. Here, you're a discount program. You get 50% off on Snap transactions, and there is no cap. We also have a loyalty program, a FAB frequent shopper card, which I think will be really great for your CSAs and for the folks that come routinely to your farm stand. I'm going to touch on that again really quickly, and then also just make sure you understand how to run a transaction with those in just a moment. We also do different promotions where we send out coupons to try to get people to be aware of the program. Some of them have color codes, some of them are just generic $5 coupons. So basically what happens with those is if people just spend $1 on their SNAP card, and that's just to confirm that they are a current SNAP recipient, they get $5 to spend. So if they spent $1, they actually get $6 worth of product. Actually, technically $7, because we match that original dollar and then get $5. So, you know, you spend $1 and you get $7 worth of stuff. It's a pretty good way to get people really enticed. So those are really fun. People enjoy those. I will show you those FAB frequent shopper cards and try to get you guys the graphic for it. And I think we have some more printed already that I can send your way. But they're basically the size of like a business card. Billing information, this is sent to us. That's not y'all. This is for you, Amy and Emily, and for Audrey when she's on there. If you want to add them as a market manager. So for instance, like I have management, I'm the network operator, so I'll see all of this, but Amy, you'll be here as a market manager. Emily, if you want a different address. And what is nice about that is that you can then see who inputs the information. So you can associate the different market managers with this one. So anybody you want to add here, Emily and Amy, you'll be able to. Your favorites list. So your favorites list was what I was talking about the different markets. You're actually probably in here already. Let's see, because you are at different, yeah, there you go, FrogSong Organics. So we can just add you in. And from there on out, you'll be in our Dropbox. So that'll be the first one you do. Like I said, if you wanted to add yourself as different things like FrogSong CSA or FrogSong Farm Stand, you certainly can. And this is where you can do it. You can complete it right here, and you would add a new vendor. And then you would just see them in here, and they'd come through your Dropbox. Your little drop-down menu. And that's your profile. You won't need to come in here very often. Once it's set to your liking, it's not going to be a normal thing. The next one that you won't have to go into unless you want to is the run reports. So run reports is really great because it can give you a quick glance. So if I'm looking at the FAB training market and I just want to see what did I look like April 1st through today, I'm just going to click run report. And it shows me I only did $30. 12 of that was in Snap, which is what we just kind of played with. I distributed $16 in fresh access bucks. 10 of it was redeemed. I only had 4 transactions, 4 customers, and we know that through the FM Tracks ID. It also gives you these fun little charts. The more information you put in, the more telling it is, which is really fun. Logs, exactly that. You can either look at your transaction logs or reimbursement logs for a specific date range. And then finally, exports. Exports is great. This export runs a full Excel on any information you collected over any date range you select that you have in there. Really helpful, easy for record keeping. I'm obviously in here every week at least pulling one, so they're pretty straightforward. If you did want to generate a receipt, you can. This is usually more of a tool for farmers market managers who have multiple vendors and they want to pull a longer receipt based on like what Snap and FAB they saw redeemed, but that's also an option if you all ever want to play with that. And really quickly, since I just mentioned the coupons, I just want to show you what the difference is with the coupons when we go through a quick transaction. So say, for instance, one of your CSA regulars, you want to let them use the frequent shopper card, and you are more than welcome to. In fact, you don't even necessarily need to have the little card present. If you want to keep track, on your 5th CSA basket or CSA week, you get $5 off, right? And we'll charge it to fresh access bucks. That's totally fine. So again, that's Snap EBT. So for instance, if say your weekly basket is $30. So if that's the case, I always start, if I have a coupon, by adding. So I'm going to go ahead and say I have that Fab Frequent Shopper card. Now what that does is it goes ahead and adds the $5. If I did what I did before and add the total amount of the transaction, it bumps it to 35 because it's in addition to, whereas your fresh access box is a discount. You can see there's a little minus sign, -15, right? Rather than the addition. So what you'd have to do is just make sure that this only says 25. So then you've got 25 because it adds your total currency to 30. Then you've got 25 SNAP, $5 frequent shopper card. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I give them the fresh access bucks discount. So for that week's basket, they're only paying $12.50 rather than the $15 they normally would. So I just wanted to make that part kind of clear. It's a little bit different because the coupons are in addition to a price, whereas like your fresh access bucks is kind of a discount. Go ahead, Amy. Yeah, that part's confusing.
So can you just explain again the frequent shopper? That's something that is accessible for people all the time?
Yeah. So what we do is on the 5th visit. So if they've come 5 times, and we do have little cards, I'll show you at the end of the little, I have a few more slides on the PowerPoint. They can come and on their 5th visit for that particular customer, get an additional $5. And it's our frequent shopper card. People love it. It's great for markets. It's great for farm stands. And then we're also now saying like, why not use it as a CSA? Like we want to make sure that they're included in that too, because honestly, like if you're a snap shopper and using CSA, like I feel like we've won, right? You've like really drank the Kool-Aid. You're committed to eating locally on a weekly basis in season. And so we want to encourage that as well.
So in terms of us promoting, because I just want to make sure that we promote it as much as possible, but also don't like overpromise to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So like, let's say we set up our summer season. Right now, a lot of our baskets are $30 here in Gainesville.
Uh-huh.
So, and I know you can only charge up to 1 month at a time, because of the 2-week SNAP thing. So I just want to make sure I get the math right. So like if it was a 6-week season, basically the first 4 weeks, people would need to pay 15. And then those last 2 weeks, we could actually tell them it's only $12.50 because that would be their 5th and 6th visit because it's the 5th and 6th weeks of the CSA. Is that right?
So the 5th week they would do the $12.50, and then the last one it would be 15 again, right? Because they get the 5th one, and then they'd kind of start over again.
Oh, okay. So it's not. I see what you're saying. It's not like they don't get that forever. It's just like after. It's like a punch card.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Oh,
and so,
okay.
but they can use it again. So say for instance, if there's a way, since they're a CSA customer, you don't need to like keep a card with them. You could keep it however you'd like to make sure they're using that benefit. We want them to, and we know it's cool for promotions too. So every 5th week, it's like a cheaper week for them. So in the summer season, it might only happen once, but in your fall season, when you begin again, it's like, every 5th week, it can be a cheaper week for our CSA members that stay along.
Okay. Yeah. I want to try to figure out how we would effectively communicate that and set it up with our billing to not make us crazy.
Yeah, understood. And I don't know if it's something where you want to like nest it in. So for instance, like, so hold on, let me do that math really quickly. So you've got the $30 baskets for 6 weeks. So that means you'd have $90 charged on their SNAP card. It would basically just be, you could charge them $85 on their EBT, and then the rest, and that would be their whole 6 weeks. And you just take it off as a part of them being in that program.
Yeah, but I can't bill for the whole 6 weeks at one time, right? Because of SNAP rules. So basically I would have to, we can do this in our program, but we would have to say like the 6-week season is split into 2 payments of this amount. And that includes, a $5 frequent shopper discount, basically.
Exactly. Yep, you could do that. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just a little nuance of this silly little addition. I just didn't want you to be messing with it and be like, what is the deal with this thing? So again, the little, when you're putting this in, this is just in addition to. Cool.
Are people allowed to use both or multiple discounts, like the yellow card as well as the frequent shopper on one, or is it one or the other?
Nope, they can use that. You know, anything can stack. Yeah, no limitation on that. That's absolutely fine. So if they have those, and we distributed those to like SNAP Ed through University of Florida. So the Family Nutrition Program has them. We'll have them with the FM&P coupons when those go out, and then we'll send you a stack of them to give to different agencies as you see fit, or any partners you have that think would get the word out. So you'll end up with some $5 FAB coupons that, again, and that would just basically look like this. So let me just show you. So one thing, when you say you got a, somebody's coming with their coupon, I'm going to clear this out. They need to do at least $1 in SNAP. So the funny thing in the discount program is technically I'm putting $1 for SNAP, but they could really end up only spending 50 cents, which is fun. And then they've got their little coupon for $5. That's $6 total, right? So it's only 50 cents on their EBT card. So that's a pretty low buy-in for trying your product. 50 cents to Fresh Access Bucks for the regular match, and then a $5 coupon, right? So they've got $6 off of spending 50 cents. If they wanted to spend more, of course they can spend more and we'll match them. So if they wanted to do $2, you know, they've got the extra, one of it is in SNAP, one of it is in FAB. So there's that $7 we kind of had talked about before. One in SNAP, one in FAB normal, and then that additional $5 coupon. So those are going to be really cool. Hopefully they'll really drive people and be excited. People can also, Amy, if it doesn't drive you guys nuts, they can also use those coupons on the CSAs. If that's going to be aggravating for billing, you guys can set those limitations, but we don't necessarily have those limitations. Cool. And I'm always here and available to help on FM tracks. I know it can sometimes, like, it becomes very intuitive and very, very quick. Our hope is that this doesn't take very much of your time, and that hopefully it adds to painting a picture of like how you see your customers and how you see use with the easy reports and tracking. But I'm always here to give tech support or just a nudge in any direction that you might need. I'm going to quickly go back to this. So we've talked about fmtracks.org. As soon as I get your profile up, Amy, I'll send it your way, and you can add Emily and Audrey as you need to that as other operators of that profile. So we went over all of this, the tracking and reporting. So we did the vendor reports, which is basically the vendor reimbursement. The minimum data that we went through was that SNAP and FAB distributed in the transaction log, the FM Tracks ID, which was again in the transaction log. If there was any flyers or frequent shopper cards used, which was just the checkbox, that's all. The SNAP and FAB redeemed, which was what we did in that vendor reimbursement tab. The number of SNAP eligible producers, which was that little post-market report. Number of FAB eligible producers was that post-market report. The nutrition ed events, post-market report. And again, I'm here for FM Tracks one-on-one support anytime you need me. Just a quick glance. So this is your FM Tracks ID. So just the first and last initial, and then the last four on their card is that ID. We spoke about nutrition education. I did want to mention that we have a nutrition ed toolkit on our website. So please feel free to check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff for CSAs and farm stands and stuff. We also have a really fun graphic designer, and I just think some of our imagery is very cute. We walked through this, but again, this is where you log those nutrition education events in that post-market report. Reimbursement process. So Amy, I'll be sending our accountant your information. You'll get an email from bill.com, who's our third-party biller. We don't touch your bank account information. We do it through a private, obviously company with more securities than we have. So look for that to make sure that your direct deposit information is set up. So like I mentioned, we distribute those funds on a weekly basis and direct deposit. And that is based off of that vendor reimbursement data you put into FM Track. So that second tab that says vendor reimbursement, that information, we need to see the SNAP and FAB transactions on a weekly basis. And that is where we get your information from to do reimbursements. If you don't put your data in, we don't give you reimbursements. Now, of course, you can always call me and say, hey, something happened, life happens, I'm behind, and we can put it into the next week's reimbursement. We encourage you not to do that because we do have to go back quarterly and reconcile our books and make sure everything looks right and everybody's received the money that they have put out to their vendors or to yourselves as a farmer. So just try to keep up with it. It makes it a lot easier for us and for you if it's just done on a weekly basis. To receive funds, completed W-9, you have that with us now. You have an FNS number. We have that on file. You'll have to sign a contract annually. I do apologize. Our calendar year for the grant ends the end of May, so I'll be sending you a new contract very soon. It's going to say the same thing though, Amy, so it'll just be re-signing something. We'll be getting your direct deposit update set up in the next day or so here. We'll make sure that you have your completed transactions and FM tracks and those vendor reimbursements and post-market reports done. And that's it. So this is some of the graphics and imagery that we create on your behalf. On the top left, you can see this is sort of what that FAB frequent shopper card looks like. It's just a business card size. And we'll try to get you some of those. I'll see if we have some printed. We also have a file if you want to print them off of like Vistaprint and on your own printer. That's open source for you guys to use and to edit if you'd like to put your own logo on there, anything like that. So all we encourage is that you just kind of initial the little box and then they get their $5 free and then they can get another one and keep the process going. The bottom left is what the double your SNAP benefits with fresh access bucks that's more long than tall. That's the backside of our $5 coupon. You can see the $5 free Florida grown produce. So that's one of the sides of what you'll be receiving. And then the taller little poster is exactly that. We have these poster pages that we put up in like Department of Health offices, things like that. So you'll be getting something similar to that to post up in a place or hand out to any community partners you might have. If there's like a YMCA or a community center, once people are either able to actually gather again in places that people congregate, it's nice. Yeah, go ahead, Amy.
A while ago, I had attended a workshop in Tallahassee, and there was this nice like stand-up poster that talked about fresh access bucks and local economies and it was this nice little poster that they had during the presentation, and they did tell me that I could go online and purchase one, but I was wondering now that we're a fresh access bucks partner, if replicating materials like that, if any of those types of materials are available to us to like put up at at our farm stand, I guess, because farmers markets, they may already have that for the FOG or whoever's doing the token programs, but it was a really cool thing. It was like one of those roll up conference looking.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, we didn't ever print that for folks, but we do love it. We can talk about that in the budget. That's not a part of like our normal promotions package.
That's okay.
Yeah, I know Gabby down at that does the Audubon Park Farmers Market and Winter Park. She had made one for those, but I think it's because she got like kind of a padded budget with Winter Park.
And we may, I did get the graphic. Like I do have, somebody was able to send me the digital graphic. So even if I wanted to make it on a different format that wasn't as expensive, but it was just a cool visual for people. And really, I felt like kind of told the story of, why you want to shop locally. And then, all this doubling, like it just was a cool piece of material.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things we have, but yeah, absolutely. Okay. And it's free to use in print. We just don't have that one in particular.
Sure. Well, if you end up for some reason with them available, we would love one.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. We also have a logo suite. So you guys with any of the branding, please, we encourage you to use some of our branding, tag us on Facebook and any of the social medias you use. We have a small budget to do some Facebook and Instagram ads. So we'll be doing that both for the network, like overall, like through the FAB page, but then also working with you guys to create an ad, a paid for ad that we will pay for to put out to kind of push you. That'll be targeting people in general, but specifically for SNAP recipients, so they start utilizing the program with you. So we're really excited about that. On our website, so freshaccessbucks.com, we do have a tab that says Marketing Community Resources, where we do have a lot of our promo materials, information on Snap tech support if you need any help, recipe cards that we've created through partners, and guides on FM tracks. So please feel free to use it and abuse it. We try to keep it as updated as possible. Anything that's in there is free and accessible for you. I also wanted to mention, if you ever have any issues with your EBT machine, or anything like that with FNS through your with the USDA for your FNS number, we're here to help you. We try to advocate for farmers and making sure that they know they don't need to be overly burdensome, because we're already really working hard to make sure we're serving our low-income community members. So please do reach out if you ever have any issues with your machine. I also wanted to mention, if you didn't get your EBT equipment and you thought it would be helpful to have another EBT machine, there is free equipment through MarketLink right now, even if you already have an EBT machine. So if you did want a second, we can definitely give you some help with that. Yeah, go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, related to that, I did just get the total pay, like the little small chip reader.
Oh, cool. So
from MarketLink. Yeah, I got one of those, but it would really be handy for us to have another one, because there are times where the farm stand could be happening and there could be something simultaneous happening at a different location.
Yeah.
That's one area. Or if we're really busy, sometimes we need to run 2 registers. Not that we would normally maybe have the volume of like needing 2 Snap transactions at one time, but yeah, I'm just wondering, is additional equipment available, or it's just the one? Because I asked them about the licensing. Like, we have other registers, but I guess only one license is included.
Gotcha.
That's what it seems like, is only one license is included with MarketLink. So previously I had registered as a bunch of, like, I had different FNS numbers for different farmers markets. So I was able to get a couple of different licenses on different machines. But I think right now I just have the one. So yeah, we have one iPad device that has the total pay on it and one of the little chip readers. But what are my options for if I need to do additional ones?
Yeah, that's a good question. They've kind of flexed on us a little bit. So I'm going to actually check in. One of the women that works for MarketLink is actually used to work in Florida. And so we know her really well and have a good relationship. So I'll check in with her. And then Heather Henderson is our like tech support guru, because the world of Snap is always changing. So I'll check in with them, and I'll make sure to CC you on it, so like you can fill them in on any details on that. But we want to make sure, like, if there's an easy way and a free way for you to get more stuff, that you get it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it turns into a need where, you know what, we're doing a lot of these transactions and we need to just purchase another license, like, yeah, if we get to that point, we can do that. But right now it's kind of uncertain, you know, how much redemption. And but I'd really love to, once we have the option on our website for the CSA, because I think this is really going to be a great thing to promote for the CSA. That I was just doing the math on it. You know, somebody could get 6 weeks of produce in the summer, you know, for $87.50. Like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely would want to do the Facebook and Instagram ads.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. And that would be a cool thing to promote. So our new communications coordinator has like just started, and she's like on the spot. We're waiting. We might get like a matching grant for that, for doing that work. And so we'll know where we're at with the actual end all funding by the end of next week. We'll know by the 18th. So we're excited, but we'll keep you posted. And like I said, we'll be emailing you kind of updates and different digest information as we continue on. The FAB annual report. This is what a portion of what we report to the USDA. It's kind of like we usually do like just an online survey to answer some questions. Also, we might give a call just to kind of have like clarifying points. But basically, it's Snap tech support, market closures. We ask about nutrition ed event dates, in-kind match. So this would be like, since you're paying salary to people that deal with Snap, that would deal with the SNAP incentive, that's basically a match to our federal. You guys are only going to be in operation for a few days, so we really won't have any questions for you. So this one probably don't worry about. So you'll have like a full year until we're kind of really harassing you. The FAB annual membership. So this is what I talked about before. This is the buy-in into the program. So this is the tiers. These don't change. And this is only on the actual incentive redeemed. So between $500 and $14.99, it's a $50 membership. Once you're at that $1,500 to $2,999, it's a $150 membership. $3,000 to $4,099. FAB redeemed is $300. You can obviously see here the tiers. Most of the partners the first year, they don't surpass the first or second tier. At the most is that one. So we'll just see where you are and work with you on that. We pull that for the year. So June 1st, 2019 through May 31st, 2020. Obviously, for you guys, you're just beginning. You're not going to pay anything this first year anyways. And then we'd have that membership due September 30th of that calendar year. So the next time you'll have to worry about this is in September of 2021. Cool. And all this money funnels back into just program expenses, doing things like buying Facebook ads, buying different things for markets, or putting towards funds where the partners you as a partner get a chance to have a say of like, how would this best be used as a collective membership. And that includes all the different services, our program resources, any technical assistance with anything that you're doing that involves SNAP or Fresh Access bucks, state and national partnerships with all the state organizations we speak with, as well as Farmers Market Coalition, Wholesome Wave, Department of Ag, USDA. We're an NSAC member, and then a lot of the National Nutrition Incentive Hub. So lots of different work, just keeping people abreast and making sure we're advocating for our farmers here in Florida. Professional development, and then these materials. So the funds, the data collection tool, as well as promo materials are included. And then this is us. So please feel free to reach out. I am your point of contact, both as program manager and the person who's in charge of Central Florida. So please feel free to reach out at any time. And that is it. That is my little spiel. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Any questions for me? Anything that I can answer right now?
Just if you would figure out how do we share the recording, because it wasn't letting me record. So it sounds like you recorded it, but then I can send that to, or how do we send the recording to, we have a new staff member, Kentucky, who is also going to be doing some farmers market. So I had Audrey join us just so she was aware of what this program is. I don't know if she is going to have to deal with all these, like the tracking and everything, but I'm between Kentucky and Emily. I need to figure out how we're going to handle the actual, inputting of the data and at the farmers markets. So yeah, just figuring out how to share this recording with her, or to find another time that she can do this with you.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to pause it right now.